If anyone would like to move up, we seem to have a lot of warm chairs up here, so move quickly. And we're going to sit on they're not moving it.
Can everybody hear me okay, or would you like me to use the microphone?
We did, yeah.
All right, great. Okay, we are going to call this select board meeting to order at 6:28 p.m. on the 13th of February 2024. I'm assuming the sign-in sheets going around.
Anyone get missed? Great.
Okay, reading of the minutes. That's all right. See there. All right. Would you like to read them, Jesse? Use your man voice.
You can use the microphone.
No, I'm good. Can you all hear me? All right, the select board meeting was called to order at 6:05 p.m., followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Members present: Jesse Wallingford, Bill Savage, Sean Corson, Town Clerk Diane Campbell, Susan Runes, Susan Strout, and Lori Arsenal. Public present: Mary Ann Haxton, Terry Phillips, Hank Phillips, Sandra Fowler, Cheryl Savage, Lori Hand, Deb Freno, Stacy Wallingford, Kristen Chapman, Wally Litchfield, Richard Estes, Amy Corson, and Doug Fournier. Reading of the minutes, January 9th, 2024. Minutes were approved with a motion by Wallingford, seconded by Savage, voted. Warrant number 13 was checks number 15310 through 15328. Total amount of $124,497.28. Receipts 1277 through 1341. $75,688.65. That was 78% of the real estate taxes collected for 2023. Open session: Mary Ann Haxton would like the ATV signs on Black Mountain Road to be taken down. Sean Corson said he would take care of this. Open session, we discussed RSU 10. Open session, sorry. CEO LPI report, update on Arthur Allen from the state. Wallingford stated that communications came from Fred Collins that Arthur Allen residents are in compliance with the state and town requirements for their outhouse. Hank Phillips spoke to say he doesn't trust the system is environmentally safe. Other residents spoke of other locations in Sumner with similar systems. Fire department's report: Doug Fournier reported that the tanker and engines are stickered. They also have one truck left that needs tires before inspections. Other business: Fournier reported that Mike Henderson has resigned from the Sumner Fire Department and has been appointed to the West Paris Fire Chief. Fournier and Brian Bullocks worked together on a forestry grant that was awarded. Roads report: Sean Corson reported that the budget is good with salt and sand. Corson is concerned with the roads getting damaged with potholes. Corson said that Lower Sumner Hill will be the first project in the spring. Wallingford stated that there are 6 to 8 people interested in being part of the roads committee. ACO report: Sean Corson stated that he went to Barrows Road to check on some cats. He reported that they are all well, getting fed, and all looked good. Roads, forms, correspondence, abatement of 2023 taxes. Dennis Byron had a subdivision named Mollyocket Estates. Byron requested that the planning board dissolve the subdivision. Planning board approved his request in the February 2023, but the paperwork was not forwarded to the assessors. Byron's tax bill now must be abated to reflect the change. A webinar of town meetings represented by Maine Town and City Clerk Association will be attended by Diane Campbell, and Wallingford will attempt to attend. New business, residents interested in planning board called to have his name removed. The guardrail on Tool Hill still has not been replaced after being damaged by a school bus. Corson will check with the school department. Responsibilities covered by the select board. Roads is myself, Wallingford. Building maintenance, Bill Savage. General assistance, Joel Chapman. General office concerns, Bill Savage. Security system response starts in the order of Joel Chapman, Bill Savage, then myself. Old business, GWI update. Mary Ann Haxton updated the select board on the progress of the GWI bringing fiber to Sumner. A grant was approved several years ago to bring fiber to our area. The first light has come into the area since. Once both companies have fiber installed, residents would be able to choose. The select board wants to meet with representatives from both companies at the first meeting in March. GWI has an interest in locating a hub on the Sumner Municipal Complex property. Planning board and school board vacancies and other pending appointments. Kristen Chapman offered to fill the vacancy of the school board until the end of the term. Savage made a motion to accept Kristen Chapman as school board representative, which was seconded by myself and voted. Budget committee, January 26, 2024, 3:30 p.m. This will be more information, a informative meeting. Select board executive session, February 6th, 2024 at 6 p.m. pursuant with 1 MRSA 4056. Unpaid 2023 taxes will be accruing interest as of February 1st, 2024. Dog licenses will increase by a $25 late fee as of February 1st, 2024. Special town meeting, February 13th, 2024, 6 p.m. before the regularly scheduled select board meeting. Buckfield Sumner Solid Waste Committee meeting scheduled for February 27th, 2024 at 6 p.m. here at the Sumner Town Office as part of the select board meeting. Policy committee meeting, January 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn made by Savage at 6:24, seconded by Wallingford, and voted. Any corrections that need to be made to the minutes? I make a motion that we approve the minutes as read. Second.
All in favor? I'm gonna abstain since I wasn't present.
Okay, all in favor?
Alright. Here we go. Okay. Open session. Comments, questions, concerns by the people of the town. Anyone? Mr. Kuhn?
I was wondering if the policy committee was going to have safeguards in place to help protect the town from a similar issue that we just kind of voted on earlier in the evening with regards to the town being had by a town employee who's still being paid. And I mean, $21,000 in late fees is a huge sum. And I think most people in this room, I have at least a half dozen issues that I had with the town clerk and those types of duties that fell everywhere from collection of my taxes to birth certificates for 2 kids that I've had in the last 3 years. I mean, it just goes on and on, and I know multiple residents have similar experiences as me. That's a whole lot there.
Yep, that's okay. I'll do the best to answer that as best I can. So one of the things that we've tried to create in this process is a checklist of all the roles and responsibilities that the clerk and the deputy are responsible for, and there's a sign-off for when that individual has been trained and has shown proficiency in each one of those job skills. The other thing that really, it's not within the policy, but it's one of our statutory duties as selectmen, is we are responsible for basically checking those warrants and things that we don't fully understand, getting that explained to us until we're comfortable with it, to ensure that things are getting done as they should. Now, did that happen in the previous case? I'll leave that for you to decide. But, and I will say that it's really hard. It's not as easy as it looks to do. I don't know what else we can put into the policy to ensure the level of accountability that we need, but we certainly haven't voted on this yet, and I will certainly run that by MMA and the policy committee to see if there's safeguards that we could be adding to this policy. That's a very good question, Jeff. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Just to kind of follow up on that, is there any way in the policy we could make it so that there's like a quarterly audit every quarter so that it doesn't continue to go on through the whole year? If there is mistakes?
There are now safeguards in place.
There are safeguards in place. I would say probably one of the things that we're getting ready to do anyway is to upload this to the town website. So I really invite all of you to take a look at it and read it for yourself. And it's a living document, so if we need to make amendments, it is in the policy, that the policy is going to be reviewed annually, but if something comes up or there is something to make that policy more robust that we can amend and add immediately, we can put it on the agenda and add it. Yes,
Can I
yes,
answer?
please. Yeah.
Also, one of the duties that's being reinstated is monthly reconciliations. The selectmen every month should be getting a packet of financial statements, date to date, month to month, receipts, the disbursements, everything tying out, checking account reconciliations, tying into the financial statements. All of that should be happening once a month with the selectmen reviewing them.
That makes
So
sense. Thank you.
Yes.
I also just wanted to state I wasn't talking about Susan, Sue, or Diane. If
Oh.
it wasn't literally obvious.
no offense.
Yes, Kristen.
Maybe Marcia can answer this and refresh my memory a little bit, but I believe in our procedures that we're currently working on, there is a quarterly evaluation of sorts. Do you remember?
There's all sorts of breakdowns. We're really specific about timelines of when things need to be done. As Susan said, there's a monthly reconciliation, but there's all sorts of checks and balances and timelines that now Diane and the new deputy clerk will need to adhere to. And I'll just say, prior to the three gentlemen sitting up front, our policy manual for the town was like four pages. It's now 25 and growing.
Good job.
So,
Any other questions? Okay, RSU 10 report. Mrs. Chapman,
Thank you, Mr. Chapman.
do you want a microphone?
No. Okay. Should I come up this way?
Get a podium here.
I don't really feel like a teacher. All right. Okay, so last night was the first meeting that I had attended. It was here in Buckfield. And they brought out their big ED 279 document, which is the building of the budget. And the big news of last night was really that last year there was approximately $2 million that the state was giving towards the school system for the budget. And bear with me because I am still learning all of this. But this year it is only going to be $40,000-ish. So there's a big difference. And the reasoning that was given is that state valuations, not town valuations, but state valuations have gone up and that enrollments have gone down. Now, last time I was here talking, I was answering an enrollment question that I had remembered hearing about, that enrollments had gone up over the last few years. So I did request information from the district, like what have the enrollments been. So I wasn't quite sure where our superintendent Deb Alden was talking about enrollments going down, but last night I found that the state, when they build their ED 279 document, they're looking at 2 years and not a 5-year span or something like that. So in my 5-year span that I was looking at, they were holding steady. You know, some years were up, some years were down, but really it was not a big difference. But because they're comparing 23 with 22, we did go down a little bit. So that is apparently how this number is determined. So they're going to have to really crunch down their initial ideas for the budget. The different schools have been coming forward and talking about their big ask, like their budget ask. And so the most talked about one currently is about the nursing situation, and maybe Lee might have some input here, but prior to COVID, there were 4 nurses who were shared throughout the district. 2 were paid for by the state, 2 were paid for by our budget. Then something called ESSER funds, it's federal to state, then into the school systems. That ESSER money was going towards 2 more nurses. So for the last 4 years, the district has been set up for 6 nurses. 2 that were paid for by the state, 2 that were paid for by the budget, and then 2 that were paid for through ESSER funds. So the school system has gotten used to having 6 nurses across the district. 2 had been here and 4 were up in the Mountain Valley region. And I think that they're going to have a hard time coming down off of the 6 back to the 4. So as I'm listening to what the different principals are coming in and asking for, they're wanting to retain the nursing at the level of 6 instead of dropping down to 4. So second on the list is that last time I spoke of an architect and engineering study that was going to be taking place, a feasibility study for the discussion of moving the 6th grade from Sumner over to Buckfield High School. And the district had interviewed 3 different firms, and Harriman has been determined to be the one that they're going with. And so that feasibility study will be taking place between now and June 30th. Harriman is the firm that is building the new school, the combined school over in Mount Valley region, where they're combining Rumford Elementary School and Morovia Elementary School into what will now be called the Mountain Valley Community School. On that topic, there is a groundbreaking ceremony taking place at 11 o'clock on February 21st over there in Mexico. So it's really the site of the Morovia or Mount Valley Middle School. So, fourth on my list here is the Tool Hill guardrail repair, and I don't know if you want me to speak to that now,
Sure.
or, and I can give you my email back and forth with Devin Roberts, who is the head of the Building, Grounds, and Transportation. I emailed him the notes, the minutes from last year at this time, where this was first brought to the select board's attention, and let him know that it had come up a year later. So he received that email along with the superintendent, so that we're tracking this. This has not been done for the last year. Yesterday I emailed him and let him know we were going to be meeting tonight, and this was on the agenda. And he had responded that he would get back with me, and he would get back with Sean about a date of repair. And I have not checked my email the last few hours, but prior to that, I hadn't received anything. I did see him last night, and I said, hey, we're going to be talking about this tonight, and can you shoot me an email? And I even floated the idea, what if Sumner repairs it and just send you a bill? So that's where this is at. I've used my power of influence, and I'm not sure where it's going to go from there. But I can give you the email back and forth on that. Let's see. Last night it was determined, the board voted on extending renewing the contract for the superintendent for another year. I abstained, I haven't been there, so, but they all voted to have her renew her contract for a year. Apparently that happens on an annual basis, so that's nothing new. And last, really great news, and I don't know who Audra Trenoweth is. However, she is now going to be taking the special ed position at Hartford Sumner Elementary School, and that was voted on last night. And she's worked really hard at working towards getting her certifications. So I'm just going to read what the superintendent said. She said, I am recommending Audra Trenoweth to the long-term vacant special ed teacher position at Hartford Sumner. Audra has recently completed her Bachelor's of Science in Elementary Education and completed 9 credits necessary for her conditional certification in special ed. She has worked very hard as an Ed Tech 3 while completing this work in record time. She will continue on to complete the courses to qualify for professional certification in special ed. So I think that's fabulous news, and I just wanted to share that. Are there any questions? I'll give you that afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, code enforcement officer report. Do you want to just give a brief little update we have so far?
Yes. Oh, they're not here? Oh, they were here. Arthur Allen Road has been a concern. We've discussed it multiple times. I spoke with Fred Collins on a week ago at the planning board meeting, and he was going to reach out to Mo Hart, who is the landowner on Arthur Allen Road, and figure out what type of system was actually installed, outhouse, composting toilet, etc. So he has spoken to Mo, and that there was a site evaluation that was done according to Mo, and that the privy has been put in according to that code, according to that site plan, and that Mo did not realize that he needed to come in and fill out a paperwork in regards to an septic plan. So he's supposed to come in, get that paperwork, submit it to the town, and then when Fred has it, he will go and inspect the privy to make sure it was done according to the site evaluation, and then it will be done. So that's the update. As soon as we know, as soon as Fred has that plan in place and, or in his hand with the paperwork, and he will go and inspect it. That's all I have there. Oh, and he is going to do a site evaluation on Greenwood Road
Yeah.
coming up.
I'm gonna ask you, isn't there, no stipulation on Mole Heights where his daughter, that piece is deeded over to his daughter,
Nope.
that belongs to him? Shouldn't there be something in place that anything like that again should happen, if they don't own the land, they can't do that?
Well, he's the one that had it installed.
Over here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when anything that we do is directly with him, it has nothing to do with her, honestly. So he's the one that had the site evaluation done. When we spoke with him on the phone with Brent Larson, Fred Collins, Mary Ann was in the room. Out back here, we were all on a
Yeah.
like conference call basically. So he's the one that had the site evaluation done and then had it installed according to the plan.
Yeah.
Don, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No,
Okay.
just what he basically said.
Okay, Doug, fire department report.
Well, we've had all our trucks inspected, all but one of them have passed. Utility needs about $500 worth of work to pass. We're looking to replace these brakes, but we haven't been able to find anybody to do them. If anybody knows somebody, let us know when it's ready.
So I brought my tape measure to measure those tonight. What I'd like to do is to see what we need in terms of quantity of grading, and see if I could get Western Maine Steel to quote it to us at cost, since I've been working there, and see if we can get a discount on it that way. And there's another steel place in Auburn that we
See, there's
can
a
have
place
quote the
called
same.
Hartford, too.
What's the name of it?
Hartford.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
they probably will.
I think that individual usually comes in to Western Maine Steel to source his,
Also,
material.
MMA has grants for maintenance and fire bonds. They cover that. Speaking of grants, is there any word on the lighting yet? Supposed to get that done.
It's on the way, kind of a mess the way that whole thing was, we had waited for money, and now you have to be certified through Efficiency Maine, to spend the money, but I just found that it's not the case. So I'm gonna be bringing staging in this week, yeah, I'll do you first. And I'll get with you all, I'm gonna do it so we can.
Yep,
Yes, sir.
I'll give you my number if you need it.
Pretty good.
Okay.
And when was that? For next week?
Okay, we'll bring them.
I'm hoping.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
all right, road report. Sean?
Yeah, there ain't much to talk about the roads. I went around and did some patching with sand on Bonnie Road and Gammon Road, there's some real deep ones. It worked pretty good, froze in, things still there, working real good. That's about it on the roads.
Any idea when you think you might be posting them?
Oh, yes, probably be posted, this week's supposed to stay cold, I'll watch, see what the weather is next week, but yeah, it'll be right off.
Soon.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
There was mention of working on Lower Sumner Hill Road this coming year. What other work will be done, and specifically will the completion of work on on Fields Hill Road and Black Mountain Road, and I don't know what other
Yeah.
others might be involved, but could you give us a rundown on that?
Well, my plan, Black Mountain is completed. We're gonna start in on Lower Sumner Hill doing driveway culverts and completing that whole section of road in there. And I think we're gonna get reimbursed from FEMA for riprap on Fields Hill, so we'll be doing all that all the way down through the whole steep hill there on that one side. And then going from there, probably gonna do a section on the Gammon Road, and I'd like to do a section on the Bonnie Road. Yep. That's all I got for that.
Okay. Animal control.
That's been interesting this week. Started out Thursday night, I got a phone call from two people that stopped at the Starboard Farm on Bonnie Road. They called me up, so I went up and looked at everything, and I found 2 dead cows in the barn with 4 or 5 pigs eating on them. All the water was froze up, they had no water. The hay was just as black as a tire and dusty. There was actually a couple of them that fell right in front of me and got back up. They were very sick. They're not doing well. So while I was there, the owner showed up, and I talked with him for a while and told him there's got to be something done. And I said I wouldn't call on him, but then I got home and the phone was blowing off the hook. So I ended up calling animal welfare, and they came right up Friday. And they were very disturbed with what they found. So that Friday afternoon, they had fresh hay coming in. They had a vet coming on the road, coming to check the cows. And every day, Friday, they were there, Saturday, they were there, and today they were there, animal welfare. And things are happening up there now. The cows are being taken care of. And I believe now they will keep an eye on them. So that farm will be taken care of. Then I got a call on a funny acting raccoon on 219 in East Sumner. I went down and that was gone. So I never did meet the raccoon that was acting foolish. And then I've had more run-ins with Jonathan down, Jonathan Levitt. Yeah, he sent a nasty email, I guess, to the town today. We had a complaint about me not handling things right.
I will call out that Sean was not working as a town employee at the time.
Right. What it comes down to is dogs are never on leashes. And he's got a very dangerous dog. So I guess I gotta talk to the selectmen to see what the next move is on that. That's about it.
We can talk about, we should probably talk about that privately.
Okay.
Jeff,
Which road was he on?
He was actually on River Road.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cutting wood down there, so I've been going down every morning, and he's been walking his dog every morning without a leash. And all it does is it chases after you. And there's another woman that likes to walk the road too, and she's been having a lot of issues with it. The dog has bitten somebody on a dirt bike this summer. I mean, it's just one thing right after another with this dog. Something's got to be done.
Just needs a bullet.
Yes, he does.
Mary Ann?
A question about the Starboard situation. Is, because of the deaths of those animals, is there anything gonna be done violation or?
That's all up to them now. I don't know what their protocol is now. All I know is that they're paying attention. They're there about every day.
Do they, since they're the state level for you as the ACO, I would hope that you would be getting information.
Yes, he is supposed to they were supposed to have a meeting with the owner today, And, I'm surprised I didn't hear nothing back today, but yeah.
But as ACO, he actually, livestock isn't covered under him. I mean, granted, he obviously took it on his shoulders to take care of the situation, but it's not actually covered under him. So I don't know that they have to report back to you.
But it's been an issue for a decade.
That's
It
why
has
I
been an
called,
issue for a
yeah.
decade.
Yep.
And I think on behalf of people who live on that, in that area, making sure that the state knows we want to be aware of what's happening.
Yeah,
So-
and supposedly the news crew and everything is gonna be doing an update on this.
All right, forms, reports, correspondence. We got a bid in for the cleaning position, so we'll open that, read that this evening. Okay. Name, Jody Goslin. Bid for the open cleaning position. What she wrote down for hourly rate would be $17.50. Estimated number of hours weekly, 4 hours. She's available in mornings. She's available on Wednesdays or as needed. Supplies and equipment for cleaning would be the responsibility of the town. And the scope of work is to clean the office and public areas, including but not limited to vacuuming, sweeping, washing the floors, walls and windows, disinfecting toilets, sinks and trash cans, empty trash cans, bottles, recycling, dusting of tables, chairs, cabinets, decor. Seasonally larger projects, including but not limited to waxing of floors, deep cleaning of carpets, washing of outside windows, maintaining the outside appearance of the building. All right, that is the bid. Now, I will say that it was and correct me if I'm speaking just for myself and not for all the board, but I believe I specifically remember discussing with the board that what we would like to get in terms of bids is, these are the things that need to get done on a weekly, monthly basis, and what would be your price for as a bidder for doing that on a weekly, monthly basis. Now, I guess we could translate this in terms of, in her bid, she's estimating that would be about 4 hours weekly at a wage of $17.50, so we can do the math on that and essentially consider that the bid, plus or minus a little bit of fudge factor. But I'm gonna, I'd like to get you other select board members' input on that, and I'll shut up.
Well, I'll ask Pearl, is 4 hours sufficient to do that job a week?
Or thereabout.
I think it's more than enough, and you'll be able to do extra, and maybe, stay one day and do 5, because something big has to be done, and then, it'll average out to about that.
Yeah, and then the other thing would be,
like we had a special town meeting tonight, so it would be nice to have, you know, if we have something coming up prior to that event, that we make sure that she's able to get in and you know, accommodate us and have the place looking good.
So I think we could kind of write that into a contract of sorts. Marcia, did you have some input on that?
I would just say 4 is a lot of time, given the size of this building.
I've been doing it for the last 2 months, and it takes me anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours. Depends on, you know, if there was something more major that needed attention, like doing a carpet cleaning or something like that, but
What are we paying? Weren't we just
$125, I believe, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I would convert that to an hour, to that instead
Yeah.
of hourly. I
Yeah.
think it would be easy.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I think that's it. Okay,
Did
so
that-
yes,
Did
well,
that include the dispatch in your reading? I didn't hear it, it was.
I don't think it was not included here, but we can
I think it should be
add that.
Needed.
Yeah, it's never been a part of that.
what about sweeping the wall? I thought that the light.
The walkway.
Yeah, I think it's
Fall
fine.
under it.
Yeah, that's.
Appearance, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think she was trying to cover what we were asking
Yeah.
for, but cleaning is clean.
Yeah.
You know, and in the past, we've tried to get someone to be here 3 hours, and generally less than that. Sometimes it was just 2, which was not always adequate, but 4 is a lot. Or
We
it's
did
more
a-
hours than it's
We did
needed.
basically a contract of 4 hours at $17.50, and that's.
Here's my motion about this. My motion would be that we, convert this into a contract of $125 every 2 weeks. We, instead of the hourly rate piece, and we make sure that we include the dispatch office in the, language of the scope of work, and, write it out as a contract.
So may I ask a
Yes.
question? Are you thinking that because you're doing a contract, this person's gonna be a contractor as opposed to an employee?
That is correct, yes.
And that means workers' comp or an independent contractor status review from the Department of Labor, because all contractors need to have that. We're running into a problem with that. We're gonna end up paying workers' comp on all our contractors who don't have workers' comp this year. So that's what's involved.
And
We
what
hire
about
someone.
insurance? Would that mean they'll be required to provide insurance also?
Contract liability insurance and workers' comp. Well, that's one piece, but from the Department of Labor, it's workers' comp. So, I mean, it's.
Some contractors.
No, we don't, but as long as that contractor has workers' comp or has applied for the Department of Labor for a certificate of independent contractor status, which is asking a lot of someone who's coming into Plymouth for $17,000. You know, and you ask that of someone, you're probably not going to get it for $17,50. $17.50, I mean, we'd have to do, you know, an analysis to see what it's going to cost for FICA and putting that person under a workers' comp. But we may want to look at that and just say, okay, we're going to hire you for $17.50 an hour, you're
Historically,
part-time
how have we
time.
done it?
As an employee.
As an employee?
So we may want to talk about this further, because there's also things as paid time off laws are coming forward, and
Yeah.
You have to work so many hours.
No, not anymore.
No, they don't need to do that.
It's an hour for every four.
Okay.
And there's another one coming.
Whereas,
Uh,
sheesh, Cheryl, you're gonna be here a long time.
All right, so
So
let's
what
table
do you
this
make
for,
Jeremy do, Jerry Johnson, because he's technically a contractor. So this person might have one.
Yes?
Or apply for that.
Have you ever just tried contacting a cleaning company to see what they would charge, just out of curiosity?
that's actually not a bad idea.
Because you have the people that go around and clean like the Airbnbs and, I mean, I don't know who they are or how you would contact anybody, but maybe just look into that as an option because they probably are.
They already have their insurance and all that.
And who
Yeah.
knows if they're driving by to go to Sunday River and can stop and clean the offices.
That's a
Good
great
idea.
idea. So let's, let's table this for further discussion. So, I will contact Ms. Goslin and let her know that we have tabled this at the moment, while we sort this out. What's that? Yes, I was gonna follow it up with, yes.
After the table, if you want to speak with Jody, could you also ask her to take a look at Department of Labor, the application for independent contractor status? It's a lot simpler than it used to be, and she may be willing to just do that. And then that takes care of the whole workers' comp piece and our liability. And she's a contractor and would get a 1099.
Good idea, Sue, thank you. Okay, so, we will table the cleaning position until next meeting.
Just a motion.
All right, so I will entertain that motion. I'll just, yeah, you say, I make the motion, we table it.
Yes.
He seconds it, all in
Yeah.
favor. All right, so we'll do a little homework and we'll revisit this as soon as possible, because I know we need, this is something that needs to be addressed regularly around the office. Okay. New business. Laurie Arsenault handed us her resignation. So we're going to be, well, let me read the resignation letter. As of February 7th. Select board members, I, Laurie Arsenault, am giving my resignation to the town of Sumner with an end date of March 1st, 2024, or until a replacement is hired. I am willing to help in any way with whomever is hired. Thank you, Laurie A. Arsenault. So with that being said, we are going to be posting an opening for a deputy position, but the ducks we want to try to have in a row ASAP is to have our approved job description and policy in place before our hire date. And what else? What am I missing?
Salary.
Salary and
And we have,
insurance.
yes, we have to discuss salary and insurance. a motion that we accept Lori Arsenault's resignation as of March 1st, or at what date a replacement is hired.
Second.
All in favor?
So basically, what we're looking at now is just coming up with the wages and the insurance part of that, for posting, because we're gonna use the policy that's already been drafted as, basically, like you said earlier, living documents that can be amended, but at least it gives us something to go by for getting this posted. So where are we with deciding on the insurance and the hourly rate? How long is that gonna take us?
Well, we should, I think we should be ready to vote on that by next meeting. We really should, yeah.
Yeah, so we
So
put that on
we
the
need to
agenda.
start. I think you already solicited Buckfield Town Manager.
$19 an hour,
Um,
on that, and, the insurance. Susan would have probably a better idea of what we're gonna be looking at for policies with that.
we had looked at that with the, policy committee
Okay,
as well. So I'll make sure that I send, the latest, and you guys can,
So Buckfield, $19 an hour,
it's 1901 or something like that, I believe.
no other benefits.
They'll, I believe that they did have health insurance also. It was, I think it was the 80%.
Is that a full-time position that's opening,
It will be a full-time position.
including Saturdays, so we'll be open Saturdays?
Yes.
How many hours would Laurie working? She had like specified number,
She was doing, hired for 35,
35.
which wasn't really adequate. We had to have her come in later in the day so that she was here late up in the afternoon after the office closed, so she could do reconciliation and go through her work, so 40, it needs to be full-time. It was, we talked about making it full-time when Susan had the job, and 35 is just not adequate.
So pretty much the person really needs to be flexible. Yes?
Well, it'll be the office hours. And yes, some flexibility
And the
is
meetings.
always good.
Yeah.
Yes, a meeting every week. She's the planning board secretary too.
yeah.
So I guess this would be a good time to just say that, as we've been, tossing this idea around and giving a lot of thought, one of the reasons for making this a full-time, position is, just looking at what's out there on the job market and trying to make this a attractive position for the quality of personnel that we want to have. Or recruit, to the office, and also watching all the ladies work in the office. I've got a whole new appreciation for just how much work goes in trying to cross their T's and dot their I's on so many different responsibilities and hats to wear. So, I think even with a full-time, position, it's still gonna be,
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Should we make the motion to make this a full-time position at this point, that way going forward, we know?
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
I make a motion that we make this, new deputy clerk's position full-time.
I second that. All in favor?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
Do you want us to go back
yes, please.
and do it tonight? Just that that person would qualify under the classification of a full-time employee and receive the full-time benefits and insurance as laid out in the policy manual.
You say that again?
Can you say that one more time, please?
Assume,
So the position would be a full-time position with the classification of a full-time employee in, as it spells out in the employee handbook for benefits, health insurance, paid time off.
so that's already laid out in the employee handbook, so we have that piece, so all we really basically have is the salary piece.
You need to update the job description from 35 to 40 hours, but I think everything else we can just.
And is full-time 40 hours?
40 hours.
There's no, I mean, other places do 35, 37. It's more.
We wrote it at 40.
Okay.
I think we can get up to 40.
Right, because the person's also going to be the selectman secretary, the town secretary, and the secretary to the board, to the planning board. So there'll be meetings every night. Or not every night, every day.
Except for the,
All right, I'll try to move this along because I can see there's people fading.
You looking at me?
Do you need this hard copy? That's it, you guys have all gotten an email.
Yes, yep. I'll just make sure, just to make sure you have the most recent version, we'll make some copies of this and just double check it and we'll add those, items we talked about.
And was it on email or budget committee meeting that broke down potential hourly wages? You sent out an email?
I sent it out as a cost analysis to,
That's right.
to you three,
Yeah,
with different salaries and.
Just to give an idea.
just, yeah. What we asked for.
And Joel, do you need a resignation date, acceptance date,
Hey,
resignation acceptance date?
yes, so, do we need to send that to the state?
No,
No, not acceptance date of
for Lori.
today.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, we voted to accept Lori's resignation on this day, February 13th, 2024 at 7:20 p.m.
For an effective date of.
For an effective date of resignation on March 1st,
Tentative.
tentative on whether we have potentially found a new employee. Thank you. Okay, old business. Mary Ann, are you here? Um,
So I've done a rewrite on the project background for the GWI project and asked for some copies to be shared, and so Susan is sharing those. Just a quickie in terms of the resilience project. Don is working on getting the lighting done. I had communication based on Susan's concern about the map room little divot, and had conversation with Matra about that. They're willing to go either way of coming in and fixing it themselves, or us getting it fixed and paying us for that fix. So I don't know, you guys have to decide how you want to do that. Then the fire department is wanting to do the refrigerator, and I think they're in process for looking, the only requirements are that they use material as described in the tasks in the grant, and you all have a copy of that.
I left a copy in the dispatch office.
Okay. And then the same thing for the refrigerator and the stove in our office. John is, working with getting his insurance through, and once it's certified,
Approval through,
that it's in May. And then that
what the
will-
approval basically is, I want you to know a little bit about life. I've been in the business 50 years, but, it really looks like they want you to use their vendors. But that's what it really comes down to, so, but when I talked to Claire, she said that money didn't come through, to me. It doesn't need to be tied to that. I'm still going for the approval anyway. I have no idea why, but, yeah.
So we talked about the GWI, at last meeting, and Derek Gagnon is the project, manager for the GWI, and I was contacted by him and asked to meet. So I met with them on the 29th, to try and get together the items that they're concerned about, as well as what we've been concerned about. And I gave, you now have a copy of the email that was sent by Derek on the 31st, which outlined the concerns, the things that they wanted, that they have needs for as the project goes forward. Then as a result of that, they sent a picture of the hut sample. I don't know if this is the one that they're gonna have for us, but this is one under construction for a project. Then I also heard from Derek yesterday, with an email that I'd like to read.
Oh, it's Derek Gagnon?
Yep, Derek Gagnon. It's the email that lists the three things. So I received this yesterday. Hope you had a nice weekend. Understand you are planning to present information about the meeting with GWI or Hawkeye to the town selectmen tomorrow. After viewing the January 2024 select meeting minutes, GWI would like to communicate a few things so all parties are on the same page heading into next month's in-person meeting. GWI was not seeking any funding from the town of Sumner. If the town is interested, GWI is willing to pay a lease for the hut location that will generate revenue to the town. It is important to note that GWI has also invested its own capital in this broadband expansion project, and it's to the tune of probably a couple million from back in their original grant applications. Standard service installations are included. Reachable 250 feet or less, drop cable distance between residence or business and street pole. GWI is simply providing choice to the Sumner community and will not engage in price or service conversations with alternate providers. Both CMP and First Light have signed pole attachment agreements with GWI, giving the go-ahead for broadband expansion in the community. First Light has already provided the majority of its pole or prep work scope to GWI for this project. GWI wishes to confirm a meeting date with the town selectmen next month to discuss broadband development, hut location, and pole line easement questions. However, GWI will not be able to have that discussion with First Light present. Let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to getting your feedback soon. Derek Gagnon. So, as a part of the conversation with them is that it's clear that First Light is competition. There's another provider, and so that's why they feel that it's not appropriate for them to be present with a meeting. So I wondered if it might be possible, I mean, you can't have a select board meeting without being open to public. I'm wondering if Bill, as the person who's been meeting with Thomas, what's his first name?
Mr.
Gagnon?
No,
Yeah, that's okay, but you've had communication with him. Gilmore. That if you could meet with GWI and then be able to bring back sometime between now and the first meeting in March to have that discussion, you'd be willing to do that.
You mean with
Derek and to talk about the hut location and get additional information that we need.
Yeah, my conversation with him, when you're talking lease now, but he said that I'm pretty sure I got this right, that he communicated with me that the town would receive free.
That may be part of the discussion that could be used.
Yeah,
If you get paid for the lease of the land, if it was, well, I think we have to step back a
Yeah.
bit, because I had conversation a little bit with Susan last week, that placement of that hut location might be more of a trick than just saying yes. Because I think, and Susan wanted to speak forward to it too, but that this would be a piece of use of our property that would be a permanent installation, because it would be an underground feed to the hut, and then out to the road. So, and it would, and
Yeah,
require a bit of a, I think it says on that email about the,
Yeah, he sent me, proposed drawings of hut location on our physical property here. There's a diagram of it. But what I'm getting back to, when I had the conversation with him, was, you know, how the town can benefit from having GWI leasing our land or using our land. He said our only benefit would be free internet to the town office, which that's where I decided to have communications with other people to find out if that was appropriate, you know, so I think that's where our hang up is.
well, so the question is, what would be required for us as a town to give permission for something to be built on town property? Would it require a special town meeting, discussion, you know, how broadly do we have to have that engaged? And the hut is the first priority at this point, because they're ready to build, they will be ready to use that hut by midsummer.
To build out from.
To start the process. So having a decision about where the hut would be located is paramount.
Yeah, but that would wouldn't necessarily have to have any communication or any talks with First Light, you know, that they're two separate entities.
Right.
And First Light, the only thing that they were doing is giving me examples of what they pay for leasing on hut sites. And it's more than just free internet from the town hall.
Well, and the email that you have, and what I read, is that they're willing to pay a lease. So
Yeah,
that is,
but initially, that's what his proposal to me was.
now I asked him, say, do you have a sample lease
Yeah,
from what they've done with other places? I have not gotten that information back yet.
yeah, and I asked for
Somebody had a
that
couple
too.
questions.
I do. Are they gonna pay taxes on this thing they're gonna put in, or are they just gonna put it on town land and not have to pay taxes on it? It's a building.
It's a 12 by 12 pad.
If I put up a 12 by 12, I have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, but they'd be
Yes.
leasing the property.
It doesn't matter even if you lease it, you own it if you lease it.
Whoever owns the land pays the taxes. So if you rent a house, you don't usually pay taxes.
So they get free taxes.
Well, no, not necessarily, it would be part of what their lease agreement was.
Lease agreement
Would
is.
have to be figured. Yeah, it would be figured
Their
in,
building would be assessed,
yes.
or should be anyway.
So,
Do we know what the speed of this internet is compared to First Light, or what they're
It's-
promising us?
It's a little bit lower.
no, the pricing is less, and the minimum speed is 250.
Well,
Have we compared that to
I-
First Light?
Well,
And, the pricing that they sent us is less than what First Light Ground.
no, the lower tier for GWI was $57, I believe, and I'm paying 50.
So
For
it's just a
First
big
Light.
write-up, like somebody who got
So,
it,
yeah,
much less.
there were 3 tiers from GWI, I believe, and the lowest one was 50, something, maybe 53 to 57, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's the same price back when we did the original survey, the pricing has not changed. So, and I've got copies, I'll find it, but when we did the original, when the committee worked, and Larry Ord was the example, was that if he had First Light, it would be more beneficial for him to have GWI.
So the price might be less, but is the speed less or
No,
more?
the speed is more.
The speed is more, so we know that, and that's in writing.
That would be, what they are offering is, it's 250, 500.
Well, there are 3 tiers. You have a choice. You have a choice with First Light
With First
also.
Light, it's 100, is the basic tier. They don't, GWI does not have a basic.
There's a lower First Light tier.
You're talking speeds, not,
Speeds.
not.
Speed's not price.
Yeah.
Speeds. Okay. 250 up and down is the rate that is less than what 100 is. And this is, I'm sorry. You guys have questions? You guys.
I'm just wondering if a building is put on town property, is the town responsible for ensuring the building, liability if someone breaks into it, liability if someone gets hurt, or is that something that the company would be responsible for? I just think that's something that we need to look into.
So the other piece is that I also looked into other property along 219 that has the potential, a private property owner, if the town would so choose not to go that route, that a private property owner could also offer their property, a piece of their property as a lease option. So we have both public and private options. I think the concern that GWI has, and I would, speaking out of their meeting with them, was that they don't want to wait 6 months. I mean, we've got 3 months into midsummer, March, April, May, and into June. They want to be able to know that that's where they're going to be presenting their hub for when they start building.
Where about on the property was GWI think it's
They
situated?
propose to continue off from the parking lot out here, straight back.
Straight back.
Yeah,
How far?
you got that too.
I don't remember
I don't think it showed, I don't think it gives the distance, but just
kind of like where all that brush is that
Yeah.
Sean's gonna mow down in the spring.
I think when we were looking at the property line is this side of the trees. About where the telephone pole is coming back this way. And
The trees are on our
the trees are on our property, but they would be kind of along the side of our parking lot and then back below that. We can't go, and it would seem, I don't know, what they put out, is that it wouldn't be all the way back, it would be back far.
Yeah, it didn't show it all the way back. I should have brought that up.
Well, so my question, I guess, is, in order to expedite our process, I would hope that maybe if you would be willing to meet with them and with me, and then
Yeah, I
have
don't
a
have any
discussion that would
problem
bring,
with
so
them.
that
You
the
know, if it's-
March 5th meeting would be with GWI coming to make a presentation.
Are they stuck on being on 219?
They want to be where their, the main line is coming across.
They want to,
They gotta connect.
they want to connect West Paris, Buckfield to West Paris. So this is
I mean, this is the
very logical area
part of
of
it.
it.
I just was thinking about the lot on Greenwood Road, that's gonna be.
Thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually thought about that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a question.
Yeah.
That's a good question, and that could be one of the things we talk about to get down to the, brass tacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could shoot off to Peru that way too if they wanted.
Would we have to pay Jeremy to plow more if he has to plow that out?
Well, that would all have to be figured in, when, even if we decide, if they decide they want to put it here. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of legwork to sift through all the, yeah.
But to enable that process to begin, could we meet with, would you be willing to meet with them and sometime, the rest of sometime this month? So that we could be ready.
On the first of the,
I know that the
So
official
you want to
meeting.
meet before, sometime before the end.
oh,
of the
before.
month.
You,
Yeah.
Well,
not
me
so that
first.
the whole board.
Okay, yes, when you set it up, and I'll meet with you.
Okay. Well said.
You have questions?
What is the big advantage to this? For Bill to spend his time and meet with them and us to sit here and talk about it, what is the big advantage for the town?
Well, one, we have another option for service, for internet, high-speed internet service, which we've been working towards having for over 7 years.
A choice, competition.
A choice. And that's what they're speaking for.
If I may add, First Light isn't offering fiber to every place. I mean, I can't, First Light will come down my end of the road.
It's GWL.
GWI, yeah, GWI will.
In writing,
They're part of the.
No, I don't have it in writing,
Yeah.
but I asked.
Right, so that's been part of the process that we as a town, when we set up the broadband committee and worked with over the last 7 years, is wanting to make sure that this would be internet availability for all.
I understand them
Yeah.
wanting to come, I just don't like it being on the town's property. That's just my personal,
I've got the sheets of all of this, three different.
Again, the choices that the committee worked with over time was in going for internet was the town would own it and the town would be responsible for operating it and figuring out how to make it work. So the town committee said, for us, it would be better for internet service provider to do that work and that we would benefit and work in cooperation with them. So this is a Maine-based company, which is been very
shouldn't the public be
instrumental.
there to hear what they say?
How much income should we
Hear what they say.
Well, they're gonna come to the select board.
They're gonna come to the select board meeting in March. What we're trying to do is kind of grease the wheels a little bit and find out what.
I thought they
what
didn't want
options.
to come in First Light was here.
That's true. They would not make, that's why I wanna meet with Bill as the select board representative, so that we can talk out some of those details, what they wanna talk about, that shouldn't be that conversation they won't have with First Light.
Yeah, and like I said, the only reason that I got in touch with First Light was.
I know, if we
to see
can
what site-
uninvite them, I guess
What's
that's
that?
an option.
No, well, no, they haven't been invited. Is that I thought that, if GWI wants to come in here and pay this town a bunch of money, put their hut on our property, then I think that's great for the town, as long as we can work out the details. If they want to snake a line, to whatever number of people that are without high-speed internet in this town, that's a wonderful situation too for those people. And beyond that, I guess I really don't have any, I'm satisfied with First Light, and I've had no issues with them, and actually they're, from the 3 different categories of payment for GWI, their lowest tier was more than what I'm paying for First Light. So, I don't have an axe to grind with this, but if we can make some money for the town by hosting their hut, I'm all for it.
So, did we invite First Light to the March meeting?
I thought he had.
I
So it's in your
talked to
comments.
them, and what happened was, he was at a seminar, and the email that I sent didn't go through with the invite.
Okay.
So, and I haven't resent the email.
So we could just
So
not.
that's just a moot point at this point.
So the concern from Bill's perspective, I might add, was that we're only gonna get free internet from the
Yeah,
town
right.
office as payment for having this hut here for indefinitely.
But what I clarified with my meeting and what we now have in writing is it is definitely a lease.
Considering a lease, so that
Yeah,
changes things
that changes it,
for
yes.
Bill's
yes.
concern.
Any other questions? So I'll get back to Derek and
Sure.
we'll get something set up.
Yep.
Okay,
announcements real quick. For the town departments, roads, and fire department, it would be great if we could please have your budgets in by the end of the month.
Sooner's okay.
And just to remind everyone, what we talked about months ago was having a date for the town meeting at the end of June, and that date would be Saturday, June 22nd.
Second day of summer.
All right, as far as upcoming events go, we will have the Buckfield Solid Waste Committee, their contingent of selectmen here on the 27th at 6 o'clock, and we're going to have discussions about the transfer station and the swap shop, and reminder to everyone that the presidential primary election is March 5th. Polls open at 8 a.m., close at 8 p.m.
Joel?
Yes.
I sent an email from the League of Women Voters to Susan Strout, and did that get posted on the website? So just as there's information about how the fact that we're doing a presidential primary is a different chat. And so for individuals, there is information about how it's different, how to go about doing it, and I thought it was a good informational, educational piece.
Really
So
well
if we
done.
can promote that it's out there,
I'll put it out on the mailing list too.
that would be helpful.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. I think that covers about everything. I would entertain a motion for us to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay, this meeting is, all in favor? Alright. This meeting is adjourned, February 13th at 7:50 p.m. Thanks for your patience. I know